Patch management exists to reduce exposure by keeping software current and controlled as systems evolve and threats adapt. In daily operations, unpatched systems quietly accumulate risk, not because teams are careless, but because change is constant and attention is finite. A disciplined patch program turns constant change into a managed process, rather than a series of emergency reactions. When patching is treated as routine hygiene instead of a special event, security posture improves steadily without dramatic disruption. The goal is not perfection, and it is predictable reduction of avoidable weakness.
Before we continue, a quick note. This audio course is a companion to the CISS books. The first book is about the exam and provides detailed information on how to pass it best. The second book is a Kindle-only ebook that contains 1,000 flashcards that can be used on your mobile device or Kindle. Check them both out at cyberauthor.me in the Bare Metal Study Guide series. Patches exist to address vulnerabilities, defects, and stability problems that are discovered after software is released into the real world. Vulnerabilities matter because they create opportunities for attackers, but defects and stability issues matter as well because they can undermine availability and reliability. From a security perspective, these concerns are inseparable because unstable systems are often misconfigured, bypassed, or left unsupported. Applying patches is therefore about maintaining trust in the system as a whole, not just closing a specific flaw. When teams understand that patching supports both security and reliability, it becomes easier to justify consistent effort.
The sources of patches span operating systems, applications, firmware, and the many dependencies that modern systems rely on quietly. Operating system updates address core services, memory handling, and access control foundations that everything else builds upon. Applications introduce their own update cycles, often driven by feature development as much as by security fixes. Firmware updates affect hardware behavior, device management, and low-level trust anchors that are invisible until they fail. Dependencies, including libraries and runtime components, can introduce risk even when the primary application appears unchanged, which is why visibility into the full software stack matters. Prioritization is what makes patch management practical, because not all patches deserve the same urgency. Effective prioritization considers exploitability, meaning whether a vulnerability is actively used or easily weaponized. It also considers asset criticality, because weaknesses on systems that support core business functions or sensitive data carry more consequence. Exposure to attackers matters as well, because internet-facing systems and highly connected services present more opportunity than isolated components. When prioritization balances these factors, patching effort aligns with real risk instead of abstract severity scores. Patch windows coordinate deployment timing with operational availability requirements, so security improvement does not become self-inflicted outage. Some systems can be updated frequently with minimal impact, while others require careful scheduling due to customer usage patterns or integration dependencies. Defining patch windows in advance reduces friction by setting shared expectations across operations, security, and business stakeholders. These windows also support staffing and rollback readiness because teams know when changes will occur. When patch windows are respected and reviewed regularly, patching becomes predictable rather than disruptive.
Staging environments play a critical role by validating patches in controlled conditions before they reach production. Staging allows teams to observe compatibility, performance, and functional behavior without risking live services. It also provides an opportunity to verify that monitoring, logging, and security controls continue to operate as expected after updates. While staging cannot replicate every production nuance, it significantly reduces the risk of widespread failure. A strong staging practice transforms patching from blind trust in vendors into informed deployment.
Rollback planning is essential because even well-tested patches can introduce instability or incompatibility in complex environments.
A rollback plan defines how to reverse changes quickly and safely if unexpected behavior appears. This includes understanding which components were updated, how data compatibility is handled, and what validation confirms a successful rollback. Without rollback planning, teams hesitate to deploy patches, which increases exposure over time. Knowing that recovery is possible encourages timely action rather than indefinite delay. Configuration control complements patching by ensuring systems remain aligned with approved baseline settings as updates are applied. Patches can reset configurations, introduce new options, or alter defaults in ways that weaken security if not reviewed. Configuration control verifies that required settings, such as encryption, logging, and access restrictions, persist through change. It also detects drift that accumulates through manual intervention or emergency fixes. Together, patching and configuration control maintain both currency and consistency across the environment.
Change tracking provides the record that ties patch activity to accountability and analysis. Recording patch versions, deployment dates, and affected assets allows teams to answer basic questions during incidents and audits. This visibility supports troubleshooting when issues arise because changes can be correlated with observed behavior. Change tracking also supports trend analysis, revealing where delays occur or where repeated exceptions cluster. Without tracking, patch management becomes guesswork rather than a managed process.
Exceptions are an unavoidable part of patch management, but they must be documented carefully and handled deliberately. An exception records why a patch is deferred, how long the deferral is acceptable, and what compensating protections are in place temporarily. This might include additional monitoring, restricted access, or network segmentation to reduce exposure. Exceptions should never be silent or indefinite, because silent exceptions become permanent vulnerabilities. Clear exception handling preserves transparency and keeps deferred risk visible to decision-makers. Automation improves patch coverage by enabling centralized tools and consistent deployment methods across large environments. Automated discovery identifies where patches are needed, while automated deployment reduces human error and inconsistency. Automation also supports verification, because systems can report patch status continuously rather than relying on manual checks. However, automation does not remove the need for oversight, because poorly configured tools can apply changes too broadly or miss edge cases. When used thoughtfully, automation scales discipline rather than replacing it.
Reporting turns patch activity into insight by tracking compliance, overdue patches, and high-risk vulnerable exposures. Reports should highlight where objectives are being met and where backlog or delay is increasing risk. Effective reporting connects patch status to asset criticality, so leaders understand business impact rather than raw counts. It also supports accountability by making ownership and timelines visible. Without reporting, patch management effort remains invisible until a failure forces attention.
Inventory accuracy underpins every other aspect of patch and configuration control because you cannot update what you do not know exists. An incomplete or outdated inventory leads to blind spots where systems remain unpatched indefinitely. Accurate inventory includes not only servers and endpoints, but also virtual machines, containers, appliances, and cloud resources that appear and disappear quickly. Maintaining this visibility requires continuous discovery rather than periodic surveys. When inventory is trusted, patch management can be comprehensive rather than selective. Patch management and configuration control reduce risk through disciplined updates that balance speed, stability, and accountability. Prioritization ensures effort focuses on meaningful exposure, while patch windows and staging protect operational continuity. Rollback planning Configuration control and change tracking preserve reliability and trust as updates occur.
Exceptions and automation allow flexibility without losing oversight, and reporting keeps progress visible. When inventory is accurate and discipline is consistent, patching becomes a steady reduction of risk rather than a recurring crisis. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.